Hello everyone, this is Dr. K. Ramya, Assistant Professor, the Department of Humanities and Sciences, Annamachar Institute of Technology and Sciences, Tirupati. In this session, we are going to discuss about the synthesis of the nanomaterials. So let's get started. So broadly, there are two different types of preparation or synthesis of the nanomaterials. One is what you call it as top-down process. Another one is what we call it as bottom-up process. As the name indicates, what is the top-down process means is that we'll have the bulk materials, that is the macro-sized materials. These macro-sized materials can be taken over to the nanoparticles. So by different processes such as ball milling, plasma etching, and laser sputtering. So these are some of the methods. So in the top-down process, the name itself indicates top to down. Means the bulk materials or macro-sized materials, we are getting break into the nano-sized particles. So those are broken or those are reduced. Those sizes are reduced into the nano-sized particles. So in this top-down process, we are going to discuss about the ball milling technique. So, but what is the advantage and the disadvantage is this? Advantage is this is very simple process and we can easily make the bulk materials gets transformed into nano-sized particles. But the disadvantage is that we'll not have the control over the size and the morphology of the particles. We cannot control the exact size of the nanoparticles. For example, when we are talking about the nanomaterial introduction, we are stating that the materials having the size in the range of whose grains or size in the range of 1 to 100 nanometers are called as nanoparticles. Here we cannot exactly control over the size. Over the size is that the grain size may vary. So all the grains need not to be in the same size, or we cannot control that. If you want 60 nanometers, that 60 nanometers cannot be precisely obtained. And also the morphology. What is this morphology? When we are discussing about the SEM of the particles, we'll get to know. So next one is what we call it as bottom-up process. Why we are calling it as bottom-up process is that we are going to build the nanomaterials itself. We are going to prepare the nanomaterials atom by atom, molecule by molecule, or cluster by cluster. It's not like we are taking the bulk material and reducing as we have done in top-down process. Bottom-up. See, bottom-up means single atom we are making to making a group of a cluster, and that becomes a grain. Means we are building the material and hence it is called as bottom up process. So the different methods involved are, one is chemical vapor deposition. This is prominently known as CVD, chemical vapor deposition, electrodeposition, sol gel method, solution phase reduction, and colloidal method. But here we'll be discussing only about the chemical vapor deposition. So going to the top-down method, we have already discussed that in the top-down method, we'll be dealing with the ball milling technique. So different types of energy mills are used for the fabrication of the nanoparticles. So fabrication of the nanoparticle means, as we have already discussed, top-down method means we are taking the bulk material and we are reducing the size of the material. So here what we are doing is that high energy mills are being used for the fabrication of the nanoparticle. So what are the different types of mills we have been using is attrition mill, planetary ball mill, vibrating, low energy, and high energy ball mill. These are the different types of materials. We have different types of the mills we'll be discussing of. So what are the mills and everything we'll get to know in a short time. So first of all, what is the principle involved in the ball mills is that we'll have hard balls, small or large, depending upon the type of the mill, we'll have a hard ball. So these hard balls, what we are going to do is that we are rotating inside the container and we are crushing the bulk particles. So the best example in our day-to-day, we will take it as our grinder as well as mixer. In the grinder, we'll have the two stones, right? So whenever we are putting the rice or the dal into it, what happens is that due to the rotation, what happens, it is breaking into the small particles. And when we add the water, what happens, it becomes into a liquid. So very similar principle here we are using. So the small hot balls are used. These are made to rotate inside the container. so that when the balls are moving in such a manner that it crushes the particles. So it moves with the high force such that it crushes the solid into nanoparticles. So whatever the bulk form of the material or the macro particle you are using, so due to the crushing, what happens is it becomes into the nanoparticles. So what is the construction is that we'll have the hardened steel or tungstate carbide balls. So here we are having the hard balls prepared of which material? Hardened steel or tungsten carbide material. They are placed into the container, and also the powder. Here I am mentioning it as a powder because sometimes the bulk material may also be in the form of a powder, but not a nanoparticle. It may be a macro powder also or microstate. So this powder is used and the container is closed. Why we are closing the container? So see this diagram. These are the silicon or tungsten carbide balls. This is the container. So a very day-to-day we have this mixing. Okay, so it is similar to that. So this is the lid. So not to eject the particles outside, we are closing the lid. Reason number one. And reason number two, when you are preparing the nanoparticles to have the stability or to have the desired form, we need a certainly closed environment. So assume that when the lid is open and these are still rotating here up to here, so the different contaminants present in the air are capable of going inside and contaminating the nanoparticle which is present. For example, you are taking some nanoparticle of X. Okay. So what happens is that when you open the lid, you are taking the bulk material here due to the crushing of the silicon carbide balls or the tungsten balls by high rotation. These particles are transformed into this X particles are transformed into nanoparticles. X material is transformed into nanoparticles. When you remove the lid, what happens? All the contaminants present, including the air, have the tendency to go inside. When they go inside, X will not be X. So only 30% of X or 40% of X plus some X% of gas plus some Y% of dust plus some other percent of something. So what is happening is that the total material is getting contaminated when you don't use the lid. So purity is of highest constant, and in the next lecture when you are going to discuss about the XRD and SESM, we'll definitely recognize why the purity is required. So for that purity, we are enclosing this whole container with the lid. Right. So how this working? We know the working. So the balls are rotated around the central axis. So this is the central axis. So along one particular direction, it is being rotated and the material is forced to press against the balls. So this material is flow. It cannot escape anywhere. It is forced to press against the balls. Then what happens? This imparts energy on collision and produces small sized nanoparticles. So on grinding, what happens is that it becomes the nanoparticles. So what is the advantage? We have already discussed. It can be operated on a large scale. So several milligrams to several kgs, depending upon the type of the container, it will be able to produce the nanoparticles. But what is the main disadvantage is that we have already discussed, we are not able to control the size of the nanoparticle. If they fix the time or if you fix the grain size of something, so 60 nanometer, it may not be exactly 60 nanometers. So depending upon the time, it may be 65 nanometers and all the grains need not to be of the same grain size. So we are unable to control the size of the nanoparticles. So where are these used? So where is this ball milling technique used? Is that it is used for preparing the elemental and metal oxide nanocrystals, intermetallic compounds, and new types of building materials. So in building, they are using the nanomaterials. Right, and also the fireproof material and glass ceramics. Everywhere they are using the nanoparticles. So in that all, wherever the nanoparticles is used in the fire materials, glass ceramics, and building materials, because it is able to produce several kg of nanoparticles and is also a simple method. This technique, ball milling technique, which is considered as top-down, can be widely used. So this is a principle of top-down process. Right. Next one is the bottom-up process. As we have discussed earlier, this bottom-up process is that we are just using this bottom-up process. We are building the nanomaterial, not breaking the bulk compound to nanomaterial. You are building up the nanomaterial. This chemical vapor deposition method out of the bottom-up techniques is considered to be greatest because it produces high purity. I have already told you the purity matters for the nanoparticles. Why it matters is that if you want to prepare an X compound, 100% X compound should be there. So how we know whether it is a X compound or Y compound or Z compound? We'll know in the XRD and SEM analysis. Those are known as characterization techniques. In our next lecture, we will be going to discuss exclusively on that. So purity matters for the nanoparticles and high performance solid materials. So highly performing material. So purity makes the material more perfect in its performance, and hence CVD is the method by which we can have the high purity and high performance. So maximum chemical vapor deposition method is used in the semiconductor industries for the production of thin films. This is very, very important because that earlier we have the ball milling technique in which we are just closing the lid. Closing the lid just means the prevention of some of the gases or contaminants into the material, but it doesn't ensure that it is pure. So here what we are doing is that we are creating a vacuum. So in that vacuum, the gas is also evacuated. So nothing is there inside. There we are preparing the nanomaterial. So that is of high purity. So what is the principle involved in chemical vapor deposition? As the name indicates, chemical vapor deposition. We are taking the vapor and we are depositing later on, which becomes as a solid, right? So now the synthesis of the material in which chemical components in the vapor phase, that is, the chemical components will be in the form of a gas. It transforms to the solid film at some surface, right? When you are taking two different gases, you are making it as vapor and you are depositing on something. For example, if you want hot water, what we'll do is that we'll switch on the stove, we'll pour the water into the barrel, we'll keep it on the stove, and we'll close. Suppose that we close it with a lid. After some time when water starts to boil, what happens is that on the lid you can see droplets, water molecules, right? Water vapor. So here also what we are going to do is that we are taking two different gas molecule and one gas molecule of one particular vapor phase. It transforms into solid. So vapor to solid transformation happens in chemical vapor deposition. Vapor to solid transformation. After it transformed into a solid, it must hold something. For example, if you are having water, water can be kept in a bottle, water can be kept in a glass, water can be kept in a barrel, right? So it needs some container. Similarly, whatever we are having the material which is transformed from gas to solid, it should have some substance to adhere. So the surface that carries the material is what we call as substrate. Substrate is nothing but the substance to carry the solid filling after becoming is what we call it as substrate, right? What is the main theme here? Main theme where the key point occurs is that we are giving some X material as a gas, right? That is going to transform into a solid. So how it is going to transform? It starts at the vapor phase itself. So occurrence of the chemical reaction starts at the vapor phase. So what is the main advantage of the chemical vapor deposition is that ability to control the components and physical conditions. We are able to control the components which we are not able to do earlier in the ball milling technique. So what we are doing, the main theme of chemical vapor deposition is we are taking the vapor, we are transforming into the solid. So when we are transforming into the solid gets deposited on that some surface. That substrate is called a surface is called a substrate. So that process is what you call as deposition. The material is getting deposited on somewhere called as substrate. That is called as deposition. What is getting deposited? Vapor is getting deposited. Which vapor? The material what you are taking, chemical. So chemical vapor deposition. So let us see how the materials are used. Which are the materials which are used? The materials used are silicon. It may be carbon fiber, carbon nanotubes, silicon nanostructure, various dielectrics. All the materials can be prepared by using the chemical vapor deposition. That may be monocrystalline, polycrystalline, amorphous, epitaxial. So all the different kinds of materials are produced by using the chemical vapor deposition. It's also used for producing synthetic diamonds and nanodiamonds. So let's see into the geometry of what actually happens in vacuum deposition process. So it is a sequential process. Number one, it is a vacuum deposition process. We have already discussed it is a vacuum related process, and hence we are getting the high purity. So first, sequential process means what happens is first it will be in the vapor phase. Next, some sub-process will happen. We'll discuss what are the sub-process. Then the formation of the solid thin film. So vapor phase, then the sub-process, then the solid film will be formed. So what is in the CVD on a whole? So let's have an idea. So precursors means starting materials. For example, when you do an experiment in the chemistry, if you want to have a zinc sulfide, you will have zinc component separate and sulfide component separate. So zinc component, zinc oxalate. Okay, sulfur component, like let us take thioacetamide. So these are called as the starting compound. So then we have the solid. Here we have gases because it is a chemical vapor deposition. So precursor gases are delivered to the reaction chamber. So let us see, this is the reaction chamber. So this is a vacuum chamber. See, inside the vacuum chamber, this is the substrate. I told that after becoming the solid, a material should be there to hold the substance. That is what we call it as substrate. And the best example is when you go for the blood test and all in the clinical laboratory, they will collect your blood and keep it on the glass slide. So that glass slide is also a substrate. So the substance for holding. And when you do the chemistry experiments also, you will have beakers, right? So exactly beaker will not be a substrate there, but in all the experiments we will say that a thing used for, a substance used for carrying the material, that is a finally deposited material, is what you call it as substrate. So the blood test time they will take your blood, right, for test. They will keep it on a glass slide. So that glass slide is nothing but substrate, and that glass slides are used for many deposition techniques, right? So what's happening is that this is the vacuum chambers. So now what you are going to do is that we are going to pass the gases inside the vacuum chamber. So what are the gases you want? For example, you want to prepare some cadmium sulfide, right? Or argon or something else, right? Argon ion. So whatever material you want to make it to condense on the substrate, let us say some X and some Y material. So you are going to pass X and Y material inside the chamber. So X and Y materials are in which form means they are in the vapor form. So reaction chamber, what happens? The precursor gases are delivered into the reaction chambers at different temperatures. Then what happens? The gases passes through the chamber and they come in contact with the substrate. They come fastly here and they come in contact with the substrate and they adhere to the substrate, and finally they get deposited. This is the overall view of the chemical vapor deposition. So what happens in the chemical vapor deposition? So the gases which you prefer, that is some X and Y, you are going to impose from the X and Y from here. Those are coming and those are passing through the chamber, and the finally many of the vapor molecules, they come and adhere on the substrate and they finally gets deposited on the substrate, and the remaining gases goes off. This is a blunt view of having the CVD. So they react or decompose by forming the solid phase and gets deposited on the substrate. So that is a blunt view. But what happens actually is there are two main steps. One is what you call it as transport process. Another one is what you call it as deposition process. So, right. So what happens in the transport process? Transport means gases gets transported. So the main thing you have to remember in transport process is convection, diffusion. So what happens in the convection? Convection means, what do we mean by convection? Transfer of heat by the movement of the fluid. Fluid may be liquid or gas. That is what you call it as convection. So here we are sending the vapor molecules, means convection, transfer of heat by the movement of the gas is happening. So convection of the gas molecules is happening due to the pressure gradients. First one. So we are passing the gas. So convection is happening. Next one is diffusion. We have come across diffusion in the semiconductors. Diffusion is migration of ions or molecules or atoms from higher concentration region to lower concentration region. So at the time when you are passing the gases in, you are not seeing which is the higher concentration, which is the lower concentration. First thing is convection. You are passing the gases. One happens due to the free convection. So free convection is that nobody needs to push the gases inside. The gas itself will go. Another one is what you call as forced convection. In the forced convection, what happens is that we'll use the pump or suction. Like for water pump, we use the pump. So when you drag the pump, what happens is that water will come out. So similarly, forced convection may also happen if you pump the gases much more pressure. What happens is the convection happens. So first what happens, we are sending the gases in, that is the convection heat transfer. Next what happens, diffusion. When you are sending the gases will be distributed throughout the chamber, right? So some will be here, some will be here. Let's hope so. The gas molecules will not be here, some gas molecules will be here. Suppose a higher concentration region is this, so the migration will happen from higher to lower concentration regions, and entire chamber will be filled with the gas molecules. So that is what you call as diffusion. So in the transport process, first process is convection, another one is diffusion. So the transport process is completed and the gas molecules are filled into the chamber. Next one, what happens is deposition. This is very important step. And adsorption. Here we have to include adsorption, incorporation. So in the transport, we have to remember two words, convection, this diffusion. In the deposition, we have to remember two words, adsorption and incorporation. So what is the adsorption is that when you send the gas molecules like this, all the gas molecules come and get adhered. It's not absorption. Adsorption means they are falling only on the topmost layer of the substrate. Right? When they are falling only topmost layer of the substrate and they get reacted. If you have two different gas molecules, see here, one is filled one is the hollow one. When two different gas molecules come and adhere, it requires some time for them to adhere on the gas substrate. So there are again two processes. What happens is that the gas molecules can stay on the glass plate or they can get away the glass plate. So that process is what you call it as desorption. Means opposite of adsorption is what you call it as desorption, release of the adsorbed molecules. So what happens is that the high strength molecules, I will talk about high strength molecules within a few times. So they will get adhere onto the substrate. When they get adhere onto the substrate, then the surface chemical reaction between the reactant species. Reactant species is again two different molecules. So the reaction takes place. If you are sending XY gases, XY2, XY3, XY or only X, all the atoms with different phases will try to adsorb on the surface. After adsorption, there is the chance that some molecules can get away like this. And finally, after a particular time called as a deposition times, only a layer of molecules will be present on the surface. That is what we call it as deposition. We call it as incorporation of the solid products on the growing film. So this is what we call it as deposition. So in the deposition process, two main thing is that one is adsorption. So after adsorption, after a reasonable amount of time only, incorporation of the materials will be completely formed on the surface. That is the original film we are having, right? So see here, what's happening is that here we are heating the substrate. So thermal CVD it is called as, we are heating the substrate. We have the doubt why we have to heat the substrate. So let us see, we are sending the gases like this. Gases of high temperature, heat transfer takes place due to the convection and all the gas molecules come. So the chamber will get heated. So all the gas molecules are coming with high velocities with high heat. Right, when they are coming, suppose the substrate is not heated, what happens is that the gas molecules will come. Gas molecules are at one temperature, substrate is at another temperature. What happens? The substrate will not be in a position to hold that much heat molecules. So when the heat molecules come also, they strike the specimen, that is the substrate, and get away. So much of desorption happens. Then there will be no deposition happening and the nanoparticles will not be formed. Then what is the process we have to do is that we have to heat the substrate by means of the coils. When you heat the substrate, then both the gases which are coming inside and the substrate will be at the same temperature or almost same temperature, and the substrate will be ready or in the position to hold the gas molecules. That's the main thing. We are using the heat coils here. And so what are the things we have to remember? For the transport process, we have the convection and diffusion. Deposition means adsorption and incorporation. So first convection of gas molecules takes place, then diffusion. So then what happens during the deposition process? Adsorption or incorporation. So convection we have already said, that is the forced convection as well as the free convection. So this right. So convection in the CVD happens due to the flow of the gaseous fluid into the chamber. So we have already discussed, but at a glance, so this is a source gas supply. It may be either a forced convection or free convection. So if it is a forced convection, again gas phase diffusion will be there. Free convection, under this will be there. Again gas phase diffusion, any of them. Suppose both convections are used also, then it goes to diffusion. So this is all the transport process we have discussed. This is the deposition process. What happens? First one is adsorption. Suppose it get absorbed, it has the chemical reaction with the substrate, then finally the structure is formed or the nanomaterial is formed. Suppose adsorption is there, it undergoes a chemical reaction, and also the desorption means when it hits the target surface, that is a substrate, and also what happens is that it reacts, and finally desorption. Desorption means getting away from the substrate, and also what happens is a diffusion of byproducts. So desorption, after the desorption is happened, it gets diffused from one region to another region and finally get out of the exit. And so these are the steps involved in the CVD process. So this is a schematic of just involved. See here, what happens is that these gas molecules are in vapor phase. Migration happens. They get, this is a substrate surface. So the molecules will come and surface reaction takes place. Condensation means transformation of vapor phase to solid phase. So see here, foreign atom means another atoms. So apart, of course, we maintain high purity, but still some foreign atom comes. Here the nucleation. Nucleation means transformation from one phase to another phase. So nucleation happens. This is desorption. So these are not strongly adhered. This can be easily get out from the vapor phase. So this is just schematic of representing all the nucleation is the phase transformation process. Initial stage of phase transformation is what we call as nucleation. So when the grains are accumulated like this we call it as agglomeration of grains. We'll see more about it in the SEM method, right? So these are the process involved in CVD. So what are the practical difficulties that happens is, one is viscous friction. So we have stated that some of the molecules will get desorption. So what happens is that when the gas molecules come close to the substrate surface to adsorb, their velocity slows down, and what happens is that suddenly it gets dissolved. So the energy will become lowered once. So that process, what happens is that desorption happens. That is due to the viscous friction. Another one is the transformation from convection to diffusion. So we have already discussed that the gas molecules are absorbed to the glass molecules, and they are followed by the surface reaction, right? So what are the factors influencing is that, so one is the gas resistance near the surface and gas heating. Suppose the gas is not that much heated also, the substrate will be heated, and there is a chance that the substrate will no longer holds the cooled gas molecules. So these are some quick references. Thank you.